Today we love and hug or sit home by ourselves with a bottle of wine. Either way, we're going to play NFL Matchmaker on this Valentine's Day. Bart, I'm going to start with you. Who should swipe right on Russell Wilson?
I get to be Chuck Woolery. Let's see. I would say the Tennessee Titans. Listen, Will Levis, you just can't do the Will Levis experiment again. I love the commercials, the mayonnaise, but yeah, man, I'd rather have some high-end aioli. I think Russell Wilson is a upgrade for Will Levis. And plus, it's music, right, Tom? You know that. Nashville, Cashville.
No doubt.
Man, CeCe will love it there.
You in on that, Graziano?
There's so much to what Bart said to unpack. There's so many layers to it. Yeah, I think I like the Raiders for Russell Wilson. Now, Pete Carroll going there. They have some history together.
They broke up.
But, it's Valentine's Day. People can get back together. I think it's okay. I think the Raiders need that injection of sort of positivity that Pete Carroll's bringing. And Russell, some people might think it's fake or whatever, but he still brings that rah-rah attitude. I think the Raiders need to be thinking about, positive vibe.
I like what you said, Graz. That's that what's up big head text that you just slide in the DMs and let them know. Remember me as Valentine's Day. We'll put you up on the break. I'll explain it to you, Graz.
So you do believe that relationships can be restored after time. So even though they divorced and broke up, you can go back to it?
Yeah, you find out that, there wasn't better love for you out there. Now you go back and you figure things out.
But is there a difference between better love and no love?
I'd rather have some love than no love, especially on Valentine's Day.
That is true. Okay, we're going to stick with you, J-Mac. What is your perfect match? Who's going to slide into Myles Garrett's DMs and who shouldn't?
I like that. Well, with the rich get richer, I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles. Howie Roseman does it again. He finds a way to trade and add Myles Garrett. Josh Sweat is a free agent. A good chance that he may be walking out and getting more money elsewhere. Bring over a guy like Myles Garrett who wants to figure out how to win, and going to Philadelphia gives him an opportunity to chase a Lombardi.
So this is like a gold digger situation. The rich get rich and just go to the rich team. Graziano, what about you? Do you like this move?
I like that move. I'm not sure the Eagles can pull it off. I like him to the Lions, another top NFC contender. It's in a win-now window that has to make it happen and needs edge rush help. I think the Lions have to find a way to get this done.
I don't know if they got the cheese for the taco, though. The Washington Commanders, they got a lot of cheese.
They do.
They can put some guac on top, too.
Really? Now that's a healthy relationship. If you can get the cheese and the guac, I like the opportunity. Myles Garrett's going to make someone really, really good if he does, in fact, leave. The Detroit Lions would be fascinating if they were able to add him, especially with some of the healthy players coming back. Okay, we're going to continue to play Matchmaker. Now we're going to go to a skill position at wide receiver. Graziano, it is on you to find the match for Davante Adams.
I like him in Dallas. I like him for the Dallas Cowboys along with CeeDee Lamb. They definitely need a number 2 wide receiver. He's more like a 1A, but a little bit later on in his career, to the point where he's not going to be able to do all the things he used to be able to do, but still can contribute in a lot of ways. We saw him have some big games down the stretch for the Jets. Give Dak Prescott another target.
I love that. Doesn't it just make sense that Dallas Cowboys go out and get a superstar name like a guy like Davante Adams? But for Davante, why not go to the Chargers? You see Justin Herbert up there, a big-time quarterback. They get a number 1 type of receiver on the outside. I think that would be a fantastic fit for him to be there with the Chargers.
Listen, I'm sending everybody to the Commanders because they can give guys 2 max contracts. They got a young quarterback. Scary Terry needs a running mate. I think it's a mutual level of respect there. We know who's number 1, and Davante can be a strong number 2 for a guy that can control the box, a dual threat quarterback that has the knack for reading coverages. I think him to the Commanders. Somebody's got to go next to Scary Terry, either him or T. Higgins. Why not Davante?
So I think it's interesting because I was going to ask you, I think you just answered the question right there, and I'll ask that of Graziano and McCourty. So it's clear that you believe the Commanders are the most eligible,
most attractive
football mate out there.
Yeah,
okay, so that's gonna be your answer. But if you're one of these people, these bachelors looking for a home and a relationship, he's got the Commanders. Which team do you believe is the most attractive destination?
Well, we just were talking about another team, and that's the Chicago Bears, for a guy that's looking for a home in a situation where, if you believe Caleb Williams can take the next step with Ben Johnson coming over as the head coach, you're looking at a team that has a lot of the pieces in place. Keenan Allen will be a free agent. They'll probably let him walk. But you have receivers on the outside. You drafted Adunza. You have DJ Moore. They have to build up that interior of the offensive line. But you have a lot of those pieces that are already there to take that next step.
Where would you covet?
Well, I think, like, if you look at, I mean, like I said, Dallas, obviously, but, like, if you look at a team that has young quarterback in place and a need for a receiver, I think any of those teams, Chicago makes sense, New England, right? I mean, they need receiver help, and obviously they feel really good about their young quarterback. So if you're Davante Adams, you want to go somewhere and help, build something. Maybe he wants to win, right? And maybe that means but the Chargers are in the same division as the Chiefs, so, maybe it's the Chiefs. Right? They need wide receiver help, and obviously they're in contention every year. So if you're Davante Adams, what do you want at this point in your career? You probably want to think about how quickly can I win a Super Bowl title. So you're looking for a team like Kansas City, or if you think Washington's close.
So you're looking for a marriage or an open relationship?
Some of these analogies make me uncomfortable.
All right, that's actually, defaulting away from it's probably the smart move.
I like the way you think.
Let's go back to some sports and we'll.
Of showdowns, it's time for America's favorite game show, Fraud or Laud. Let's meet our first contestant. He is the Baron of Boca Raton, Florida. Our very favorite Mike Tannenbaum is here. And Mike, our first caller is the Philadelphia Eagles. It's parade day in Philly, and the Eagles are saying that they're going to repeat as Super Bowl champs next season. Is that fraud, or should we say laud?
That is a fraud, guys, and no, I really don't want to rain on their parade, but it is so hard to repeat in football. They have a great nucleus, but they do have a number of key free agents like Zach Bond, Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, and Mekhi Becton. And there's a number of really good teams in the NFC. We saw the Rams be 20 yards away from beating them. So taking nothing away from this great team, it's really hard to repeat. That is a fraud.
Mike T just said he does not want to rain on their parade on their actual parade day. I think you rained a little bit, but as you said, really hard to do. Only 8 teams have ever gone back to back. Meanwhile, our next caller, it's the Ravens. They're saying that next year is finally the year that Lamar Jackson reaches the Super Bowl. Fraud or laud, Mike Tannenbaum?
We are going to laud that. Rain in Philly, sunshine in Baltimore. Lamar Jackson is arguably the best player in the sport right now outside Patrick Mahomes. Could have won the MVP that Josh Allen got. You have Derrick Henry that we're looking at here. And then they have some really good young players, guys. When you look at Nate Wiggins last year, who was a really productive corner. Roger Rosengarten, a really good offensive lineman. Zach Orr is going to be another year as a defensive coordinator. So I think this nucleus of this team is outstanding, and I think they could get to the Super Bowl next year.
I mean, I don't disagree. Lamar is well overdue for a Super Bowl. Now, our final caller is the Cowboys, and Dak Prescott is saying that Dallas is, quote, very close to winning a Super Bowl. I can't believe I'm asking this, but is that fraud or should we say laud, Mike?
That is a capital F fraud.
That laugh set it off.
They
You
are
didn't pick
closer
up
to
the
the
phone.
bottom of the NFC East. Yes, they are closer to the bottom of the NFC East, not the top. When you look at what they need, Zach Martin, their right guard, is probably going to retire. Terrence Steele, their right tackle, gave up 14 sacks. Rico Dowdle, who's a good running back, is a free agent. They need another wide receiver. On the defensive side of the ball, they need a defensive tackle and a big off-the-ball linebacker, and DeMarcus Lawrence, a free agent. But beyond that, they're ready to go.
Oh, well, they're ready to go, and so are we, because, yes, it's Valentine's Day, but we're also told it's your birthday. So happy birthday. Thank you for waking up with us, Mike. And we want to know, we got some fantastic prizes for you. What are you picking this morning on Fraud or Laud?
I'm going to go with door number 3.
Door number 3 it is, as Zena takes us over there. And what do we have for you? It's a birthday cake, but unfortunately, you have to catch it. Mike Tannenbaum, how do you feel about catching a birthday cake?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'd be surprised if it was any other footage, so I appreciate it. I don't know if America really wants to see that again, but I appreciate the sentiment.
I'm glad that it's virtual and that it's not anybody actually throwing you a birthday cake right now.
Well, you never know. The day is young.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for playing Fraud or Laud, Mike T. But don't go anywhere, birthday boy, because Cupid is calling for your
All right,
nap.
Cowboys fans, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Y'all remember last offseason when Jerry Jones had us all believing this team was all in, only for them to sit on their hands in free agency? Well, that lack of urgency left Dallas stumbling to a 7-10 finish, and folks ain't forgot. Injuries played a role, sure, but the biggest frustration? That front office acting like they had all the time in the world while the rest of the NFL was making moves. Now, Micah Parsons ain't one to point fingers, but he made it real clear this week. Dallas better wake up. I want to see us become aggressive and get some players that will come in and make an impact, Parsons said. I want to see us bring back our own players. That's just as important. In other words, stop playing around and build a contender. The man wants to win, and he ain't shy about saying it. Of course, you knew someone was going to have an issue with that. Enter Stephen A. Smith, who just couldn't resist throwing shade. On First Take, he let loose, saying, "Micah Parsons, I say this affectionately, I need this man to be quiet." Now Stephen A. swears he's looking out for Micah's pockets, saying, "It's rare I see a player, courtesy of his mouth, get in the way of his money." But let's be real. Parsons ain't just talking. He's trying to push this franchise into making the right moves. And here's the kicker. Parsons already put it out there that he'd be willing to take a little less money if it meant Dallas could land a superstar like Myles Garrett. That ain't something you hear from every player. The Cowboys, on the other hand, have a history of dragging their feet when it comes to extensions. Just ask Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. So while Stephen A. might be worried about Parsons' contract, the real question is, will Jerry finally change his ways and lock down his defensive star before it's too late? Look, Cowboys fans ain't asking for miracles. But this franchise has spent too many years being almost there, while teams like the Chiefs and Eagles stay aggressive. Parsons wants to win. Y'all want to see this team actually compete for a Super Bowl. So what's it going to be, Jerry? Are we going to sit back and watch another offseason pass us by, or are we finally making some power moves? Drop your thoughts below. Should Dallas listen to Parsons and go all in, or are we gearing up for another season of excuses?